even though we went through diet culture together and all those things, she would not let me say those bad things about myself. She'd be like, "Oh, hell no. You are beautiful. You are smart. You are this, you are that." And so all of those things were just sort of rushing over me, like as I was watching this pair of jeans, this pair of skinny jeans, and thinking about the fact that I wasn't upset and then I wasn't mad and then I was healing, and that how special this was and like this moment was to be able to see this. And each one of these garments had patient stories of the people's garments that this belonged to, and you could hit the button and hear. And I'm very tall, so I couldn't hear it very well. But you could press the buttons and you could scan them and then go and listen to the patient's story, like on a landing page somewhere else, which is like a web page. And so that was really like powerful to be able to go around and just sort of see. And there was, I know Mike had a moment like kind of similar, but I'd love to hear what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of the most powerful things you can imagine. It was dimly lit, constant stories coming at you in words. But when you got into the room with the clothes, and I posted a video about it as well, I feel like it was triggering for a lot of people because it hit a lot of people's sort of soft spot around something, whether it was shame in their body or a fear. And the thing, it wasn't so much shame of my body with me. That's not been my issue, but it was a fear. It was a t-shirt that said, if I was afraid that if I had ever ripped, I couldn't like replace it. Right. Like, and as someone who business travels a lot and who knows where every single DXL is in every major market in the country, because he would forget things or something would be spilled and he'd need to buy a new shirt. That's the moment I went. I walked up to Kim and I said, "They need tissues." And Kim was like, "I have them." And it was, that part of it was super powerful. The other thing I loved was at the end, you could take your personality test within the movement, right?
Yeah.
And what I loved about it, and this was a space where I truly felt included in Obesity Week. As you went down sort of this choose your own adventure of personality test, it actually would be like, I'm an advocate. I'm an advocate on social media. I do. And I was like, it just kept going. I was like, it sees me. Like, it actually sees me in this space and what I've been doing. And I was the challenger. I can remember the personality type. And I really felt seen in the exhibit. Now, I know people had different responses, but for me, that it wasn't so much the bathing suit and people looking at me, and it wasn't that kind of thing, because that I didn't feel that way. But the constant fear of like not being able to get my needs met in society in a larger body, that was what got me.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting insight. When we were leaving, there were these little like what do you call them? Cue cards. What do you call them? These post-its?
Yeah, post-it notes.
And there was all these threads, right? Yeah. And I look over and I see one that says Curvy Girl Beth. And I was like, I know Curvy Girl Beth. I met her at Obesity Action Coalition, like Your Weight Matters conference. And I was like, wait, is this like happening right now? And then I realized she was there. So you sign it and you basically pledge. It was a pledge, right? To be able to help like break the stigma. So I signed Kim of the Plus Sides and I took a picture next to Beth's and I sent it to her on Instagram. I was like, are you here? Like, I see her. She's like, I am. And that was just really like a cool, fun connection. And like, so I mean, I feel like Mike and I, like you see, we had very different perspectives, which I love. Exactly when
I'm trying to butt in. Hi.
Just do it.
Perspective stuck with
14
me.
years. Just be like, shut the fuck up, Kim. Like,
I went through it with
I am going to talk to your daddy about that.
And I've been telling everyone what she said.
Not in my world. You don't use that language, lady.
Oh, no.
Talk to your daddy. No, when Kim was saying was, Kim called me a thug.
You are a thug.
She called me a thug at the Zepbound was the immersive, and Amanda and I had we had a stimulating conversation about it. So those jeans.
That's right, Debbie.
Yeah, you should go, Debbie.
Yes.
Those jeans challenged me. So when I looked at them, I was like, she got a great figure. Like, okay. But it made me think of, it made me draw on my own experiences where I realized how much there's like maybe two different kind of worlds I lived in. Whereas coming up, definitely othered. Tried to fit in, tried to be slim. But then when I moved away from my home base and I made friends with a few, I would call them plus sized baddies, I learned the game. Like I learned the game. But in any case, so when I guess when you're younger and you're ashamed of shopping at, say, a Lane Bryant or a plus sized outlet, I wasn't. I never was. I never was. At that point on. But the jeans made me think of the mannequin that Lane Bryant has. So if you guys ever go into a Lane Bryant, the mannequin is modeled after an Olympic speed skater. So let's just sit and think about that for a second.
Yeah.
This is an Olympic athlete. She is the model, the body type for a plus sized outlet. And so those jeans reminded me of that. And so I'm always challenged by this notion that like I'm still in a plus sized body. I don't know if I want to ever get into like a non-plus. But it just challenged me. It didn't I didn't feel so much as triggered, but just challenged. Like what
how do I feel?
What is it for you? Yeah. Like, where do you want to be in all of this? Because I always felt, even like, in a larger body, largest, heaviest, fitness was always a big part of my life. It was catching up to me. I would say that my obesity really was starting to catch up. It was starting to get out of control, but I was challenged. I was challenged. I didn't feel, I don't know. And then the bathing suit was cute too. I looked at the bathing suit and she realized people were looking at her, but she felt so good in her bathing suit. I just got to a point when I was heavy, like I didn't give a shit anymore. Like, okay, you can look okay, here. It's just like, yeah, you're right, Beth, 67%, size 14 or above. But that just made me think, like, that figure of a mannequin is an Olympic athlete. And then you think about like how Serena Williams went on a GLP-1 as well. Like, we're baddies. Like, so I was very challenged. I was very challenged by this notion. So we're in this crux of body positivity.
Yeah.
But here we are where we have this new therapy that really has revolutionized our everybody. It's revolutionary. So yeah.
So Beth was saying, Curvy Girl Beth's here. She's our friend and advocate.
Hey, Curvy Girl Beth.
She says 67% of women in the US are a size 14 or above. And then she says that 18% of clothing is made, and only 18% is made in those sizes.
Yeah. And then there was also the worry that I had, because Americans, we love to categorize and single things out and make everything separate to everything, right? So I recall Kim and I did a live a couple years ago. It might have been one of our first ones where they may be doing away with like plus size departments of stores because people are starting to shrink so much, and that really just like concerns me.
It make me feel sad. Yeah, there's one that's here in Atlanta that closed down. And it was like, it has like a regular section and then it has a plus size one. It was sort of like, we still
need those plus sizes. Yeah.
They closed it online. They closed it totally. And I went to go get something for some event that we had happening for plus size. And I couldn't. And I felt so sad about that. Cause like I knew I could go still and probably get something at a size 14 at a regular store. And while that's cool and everything, but there's usually more to choose from, like, especially if you're like right on the, like, right between 14 and 16 or right between 14, and so I feel more comfortable there. And I've always gone there. Like, I mean,
I agree.
When I was in school, like when I was in middle school and high school, like I did have to, there was no Lane Bryant. Like I shopped in the women's section, and then when I got to middle school, high school, and there was a Lane Bryant, then I shopped there, but it was made for moms. So I was trying to make things cute.
Very much like a Catherine's, right?
Yeah, very. Yeah, sure. Yeah, like that. And then eventually they kind of caught up.
Very curtain. Very
Yeah.
furniture.
Yeah. And so like, I think we've gotten better like with I think plus size fashion for sure. But I think that it's more about like you really just want something you feel comfortable in that's sort of like cut for
Mhm.
the way that your body is. And ultimately,
Yeah.
like I'm still not in a size small body after this. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm actually happy about that because I feel like that would challenge everything I think about myself if I
Right.
was not plus size.
Oh,
Like,
it
And then
does.
how do we challenge that? Like, where does it?
yeah.
I'm gonna have to do a lot of writing on this. 'Cause
No,
but it's also like,
absolutely.
if you think about it, it's also like like an intrinsic sort of thing that we have probably just been ingrained in our psyches all
Mhm.
along. That the slimness is the standard.
Yes.
Um, or it was just fascinating.
I mean, if I
Can I
keep this up,
say-
I'm going to be shopping at Baby Gap. So
Oh my God.
Baby stud gap.
I
Right.
gotta,
Good.
I
Yeah.
gotta figure that out. But you hit the nail on the head of like,
Yeah.
it does challenge everything
Yeah.
that because it has. And at the conference too, I believe it might have been Dr. Pashby talking about it, or maybe it was in your live the other night, Mike, where she was in there, but about how it takes so much longer for our brains to heal after the weight is gone. Because I mean, I can tell you,
Hmm.
last night I put a shirt on and it felt tight and I immediately took it off.
Oh my God. So you
Yeah.
freak out?
I mean, I kind of did, but it was funny is clothing is not universal either in its sizing
Mhm.
anymore. A small is
It
not a
is not.
small.
Absolutely not. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like that like gets you too,
Yeah.
because like when I reach for one thing and it's one size and I'm like, oh wow, I can't believe I'm wearing this. And then I put one on that's 2 sizes larger, but it fits the exact same way as the other one does.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this? I just put on weight again. But
Yeah.
I didn't.
We get this like internalized obsession, so it's still there. Like
Yeah.
it's I guess it's a never ending process of this self acceptance.
Yeah. Debbie was saying she
Never ending.
remembers that her mom in the 60s and 70s was making her own clothes
Mhm.
because there
My
were
mom
no
used to make my
plus sizes.
clothes. Yep.
In the 60s and
Welcome to the
70s.
60s.
Dr. Pashby said your brain doesn't heal. Adipose tissue heals faster than your brain.
Yeah.
And I found that
Oh,
just so
good.
deep. She said it both my live and at the conference.
That's amazing.
But it's also funny, like as we think about our bodies and our sizes, right? Like
Yeah.
Zach brought a sport coat that's a non-scale victory for me. It's Zach at his heaviest, and I fit in it, and it was a size smaller than I thought I would, and I was like celebrating, right? So
yeah.
Heck yeah.
You wore it around the last day of the conference.
I did.
That
But it's
was
ironic.
a little big on you, Mike. That one that if you were in the we were when that was Thursday that we were together.
Thursday.